It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Monday, November the 4th. That's quite a way to kick a week off right there. Coming in strong with Stairway to Heaven. A perfect palette set for the day, if you will. Let's get right to it. We've got your top 5 at 6 on a Monday morning. Whew, man. After the clocks got set back and everything, I feel totally the same. Actually, no impact whatsoever. Whatever.
Zero.
Let's get on with it. By Thursday, I'll be crying again probably. But right now, I'm feeling pretty good. Number 5 on your top 5 at 6. Okay, Halloween came and went. We were kind of wet, and it was kind of nasty. And it was like, it was okay. As it turns out, according to the National Weather Service, the Twin Cities received 1.25 inches of rain and melted snow on Thursday. That was more liquid that actually fell during the historic 1991 blizzard, if you can believe that. This was the wettest Halloween on record. Now, this year's will not go down in anybody's memory books. It's nowhere near the impact of the blizzard of 91. There was 37 inches of snow that fell in Duluth, 29 almost here in Minneapolis. But it wasn't all on that day. A lot of the snow came on November 1st. And, of course, rain is a bit heavier than snow, blah, 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 blah. Very similar in how the temperatures were leading up to Halloween. This time, thankfully, we didn't get all that snow. It was mostly just rain. Weirdly enough, though, the wettest Halloween ever this past weekend. Go figure. The temperatures have rebounded. It's kind of going to be warm the next few days, next couple of weeks, actually. So, it's not your normal November, I guess.
It just means that when someone brings up 1991, you can say, that was nothing. I was there in 24.
I can't
an inch and a half of rain.
I'm so glad I can be a part of that conversation now. I've just been waiting.
Socks got wet. It was horrible.
Man, I mean, honestly, I almost didn't make it in on Friday. It was an emotionally charged Friday morning for me after that wet Halloween. Number 4 on your top 5 at 6. We've always heard about sports fans. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna enjoy, drinking your tears, choke on your tears. Here's a weird one: Fireball whiskey, which is weird enough on its own. Fireball whiskey is creating special bottles of what they are going to call Crier Ball. It's going to combine Fireball whiskey with actual tears of losing sports fans.
Gross.
Somebody in marketing just needs a head slap for this. And everybody who didn't slap that guy in the head, they need their head slapped too. Fireball whiskey is going to, quote, embrace the competitive spirit by blending Fireball with fans of teams who lose 6 big rivalry games this month.
Well, if it's the tears of Packers fans, it's just adding more alcohol. It's just going to really going to spike it there a little bit. It's like adding beer to your Fireball. I mean, Fireball is junk, They've got to keep coming up with gimmicks for people to drink this crap.
6 rivalry games, 3 college games, 3 pro games in November. And to your point, Zep, November 17th, Packers versus Bears. Here's what they're going to do. They're going to 6 of these games. They're going to have people stationed at the exits, and they'll be asking losing fans to donate their tears. Listen, this gets dumber. Each drop will be, quote, captured and stored in sealed, sterile jars, then safely transported to a secure facility for storing and distillation.
Oh, come on.
Please.
I can't believe they think people are going to donate the tears. They're not going to pay them any money. That seems ridiculous.
If you're walking out of a stadium after your favorite team just lost a game and this makes sense to you, then I guess that you're who they're looking for. You're the Fireball whiskey patron.
And if you're the poor intern they send out there to collect these tears, wear a cup. Maybe wear a cup and, I don't know, a catcher's protective mask, some
goggles.
Gear or
You're
something.
You're going to want goggles. People will be you want tears? How about saliva?
Yeah.
Man, that is we've lost all hope. Stop it now. Number 3 on your top 5 and 6. Great news for all of us here in Minnesota, but especially Tony Lee. Minnesota has the 3rd best chance of the 50 United States of surviving an alien invasion.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
What do you do to survive?
Well, if they invade during the winter, it's just too damn cold here.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. There's a new study. States have the best chance of surviving an alien invasion invasion are Virginia, number 1, then Alabama, then 3rd, Minnesota. A website conducted a study. They said there are things that they're looking at, taking into account all these factors, such as the number of UFO sightings already on the books. And Tony, you've got a couple dozen, so thank you for leading the charge. Landscape and terrain. I guess aliens can't swim. We got a lot of water. I'm not sure what that means.
I don't know.
Defense, science, and medical resources. I guess thanks Mayo Clinic.
Yeah.
Plus food and beverage manufacturing. They can't handle our spam output.
Between General Mills and all the breweries we have around here, we're set.
The lowest chance of survival is Nevada, apparently.
Well, that goes for any metric, I think. Probably just if there's not an alien invasion, Nevada will go first. Yeah.
And it's not just Vegas. Reno's hardly a cakewalk either. Trust me. I've been up on the wrong side of a long night in Reno in the past. So anyway, but that's great news for all of us. When you look up in the sky and you see that alien craft coming in, just know that you're in a good place to survive whatever's about to happen.
They have to incorporate that in the tourism campaign.
I think that would be a good plan.
Yeah.
The land of 10,000 lakes. And number 3 on your Survive the Alien Invasion checklist. Congratulations. Number 2 on your top 5 and 6. Hey, they flexed the Minnesota Vikings. And boy, for the first half, it kind of looked like that was all going to backfire for the Skull Nation. But Sam Darnold overcame 4 sacks and 3 turnovers. He had 3 touchdown passes in the second half. The Vikings beat the Colts 21-13. A very sloppy game, but as we all know, a win is a win. You take it and you move on.
That's right.
JJ with 137 yards. Addison had a beautiful touchdown late in the game. That diving one-handed grab in the back corner in the second half, and then of course with a couple minutes left, kind of sealed the deal. Joe Flacco, as they say back in his old former hometown of Baltimore, Joe Flacco comes in as the new Colts starter. And didn't have the best game of his life at all. This Colts team, good defense, not a whole lot going on offensively. Just a team in flux, if you will. But again, a win is a win is a win. And for the Vikings, after 2 straight, a big Sunday night home win. Very well done, gentlemen.
Here's your quarterback, Sam Darnold, post-game on the field.
Sam, I'm going to start with you. 0 points in the first half. How did you turn it around in the second?
Yeah, man, that's not how you draw it up for sure. But, we battled through adversity, throughout this year. And, we do it in games as well, man. We got a really resilient group. Obviously, don't want to turn the ball over the way we did tonight. But, yeah, we just went out here. We were resilient, like I said, and we got it done.
We saw you come out in the third quarter limping a little bit with the athletic training staff around you. What was going on?
I'm good. I'm all good.
I knew you were going to say that.
I tossed that in there. We're all wondering a little bit. As that first half was a bit like having a good day at work but not getting anything done. It wasn't terrible. And I watched the entire Colts game when they played the Steelers earlier in the season, that defensive line that, of course, I'm blanking on the commentator that went nuts for him, the Triangle of Death or whatever he was calling him, Chris, wide receiver for the former Bengals or whatever. Collinsworth, thank you very much, that loudmouth. But anyway, no, they're the real deal. That defensive line, is built to give offenses trouble, and they have been all season, just nothing on the other side of the ball. But really got the job done. A big, I think, tip of the cap to the GM and the Vikings ownership for getting Cam Robinson in on short notice and ended up with a game ball. Here's that audio.
Hey, for anybody who's ever played left tackle in the NFL, it's one of those things when you can go out and block the man across from you. You can wear purple, you can wear teal, you can wear white, you can wear red, you can wear whatever you want, but you show up on a Wednesday, have a couple days of work, and go out and play like that. Welcome to the Minnesota Vikings.
Even got chippy a couple of times. You see that? Got in some people's faces that were messing with the Vikings. Welcome Cam Robinson.
That'll pay dividends throughout the season. The more comfortable he gets, the more comfortable Sam Darnold's going to feel. Make no mistake about that.
Sometime during the game, did you see they cut to J.J. McCarthy on the sidelines, and he absolutely looked 9 years old.
Yeah, no, he's 100%. He needs to work on that. He needs to get like a fake, just a Hollywood beard going or something. Maybe just a good G.I. Joe scar on his cheek.
Yeah.
Got to toughen up something.
Yeah, give him a scar. There you go.
Hey, quick morning shout out to Savage, Minnesota.
Savage.
Or if you prefer Savage, I'm not going to correct you, but, Savage. A lot of good folks down in Savage getting up, starting their day off. We're glad you're listening to us. You know what to do, Savage. Come on.
Get her done. I was just reading that story. It was a couple of weeks ago. That guy in Savage, that little road rage incident, somebody followed him home and took a shot at him. I don't know if you guys read about this or not. Shot him, but hit his cell phone in his pocket.
Ugh.
That guy's okay. I know, don't act savage and Savage. Yeah, it's just a name.
Take it easy, Savage. We love you. You don't have to show those teeth every time. Number 1 on your top 5 at 6. No amount of hyperbole. You cannot overstate the importance and impact in the music industry of Quincy Jones, who died last night at 91 years old. 79 Grammy nominations, 27 wins. I mean, the kind of guy who, any documentary you ever see on Quincy Jones, when it's over, you just think to yourself, how did one guy possibly do all that? A truly astounding career and an astounding life. And also Rashida Jones' dad. That's pretty good. I love Rashida Jones. I think she's awesome. Rest easy, Quincy Jones. Very well done, sir. And despite the fact that he was bad-mouthing the Beatles for their musicianship a few years ago, he always loves to mention that. He was always a shit talker. That was just his bag. And then he came out later and goes, I was just saying all that stuff trying to be, I don't know. They were fine. Yeah, but he was clearly a lot of fun. In about an hour and a half, 7:50, we're giving away Minnesota Wild tickets. They're playing the Stars November 16th at 7:50. You're going to want to be right here if you want to try to win those tickets. Right now, as it is Monday morning, it's time to go through the Monday morning leftovers. I believe you know how this works. We're going to ask you to let us know what you want to hear about. We've got stories we didn't get to last week we feel are worth your time. You guys vote. Go to the KQ Talk and text line 651-989-ROCK and text if you want to hear a story about an ex-Walmart employee peeing on 72 bags of potting mix. And who doesn't want to hear about that? Then you text Walmart. If you want to hear about America's biggest fears mapped by state, text us the word fear. That's your keyword. How about this? Speaking of fears, a study has found Burmese pythons can eat way more than we realized. Text the word snake if you want to hear that one. I already have goosebumps on my arms.
Tony has something extra juicy to go with that. So
Really?
I'm gonna throw my hat behind that one.
I like that.
Snake. The word is snake.
The word is snake if you want to hear about snakes and something special from Tony. Let's see. We've got a story from Pennsylvania about a business producing, it was supposed to be a place of science. It was actually a place of fentanyl. That's drugs. Just text the word drugs if you want to hear about that.
Oh, boy.
How about this one? If you want to hear about the amount of time we're all willing to wait for food before we get annoyed, text the word food.
It's unusually high, too.
It really is.
Yeah.
I was
Yes.
impressed with how patient we all are.
I usually walk in annoyed. I know that's hard to believe.
The most loved car make and model in America. Want to know what it is? Want to know what the list is? Text us with the word car. And then how about a pizza quest? One man has gone to every pizza ranch. That keyword, I should say, text in pizza. So you got a pizza quest. The word is pizza. You want to know about the cars we love the most? Text car. The amount of time we'll wait before getting annoyed for food? Text the word food. Fentanyl produced in mass amounts at a place of reputable business. Otherwise, drugs. If you want to hear Tony's bit on snakes, then text the word snake. If you want to know about our biggest fears in state-by-state mapping, hit the word fear. And then finally, if you want to hear about the guy at Walmart who couldn't stop peeing on bags of potting mix, text the word Walmart. I mean, it's like a habit forming. Once you do it once, you get away with it. You're like, now why do I need to go to the men's room? There's some potting soil right over here.
Like peeing outside when I was a kid. Yeah, well,
That's a lot.
Must have happened in Wisconsin.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the beer is flowing, the pee is flowing in response. That's how that goes. 651-989-ROCK. We will check out your results. Let us know what you want us to discuss. And along the way, you can always stream us at 92kqrs.com. Oh, I'll tell you what's up. It's November the 4th, and on this day in 2007, Adrian Peterson, just 8 games into his career, this is just funny in hindsight, against the San Diego Chargers at home, ran for 296 yards in one game. What in the hell was happening that day? I remember it, like reading about it going, wait, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, they had one called back, too. I believe it could have been over 300.
It's insane. In only his 8th game. By the way, that record still stands, 296 yards. The Patriots and Colts played in the second afternoon set of games. Both teams were undefeated. It was one of the highest-rated regular season games of all time. The Vikings, thanks to Adrian Peterson, had a big lead in the fourth quarter, so CBS switched over to the Pats-Colts pregame, meaning most people failed to see him set that record. He did have 35 yards in the final 2 minutes of the game, which is hilarious to think about. They were still running him with a big lead. But anyway, AP, nice day, dude.
Yeah.
Shocking. On this day in 2001, former Cowboys offensive lineman Nate Newton was pulled over in St. Martin Parish, Louisiana, and police discovered in his van was 213 pounds of marijuana. That is an extraordinary amount of weed. 5 weeks later, he was arrested in Texas. 175 pounds that time. My man,
not very good at that,
in just a little over a month, he was picked up with just under 400 pounds of weed in 2 different vehicles. He did 30 months in federal prison for drug trafficking. In an interview years later, he said, "I was always so competitive. I just couldn't see myself not being the biggest dope man."
Yeah, right.
Dope man.
I mean, I'm sure when he pulled the car around and said, "How many pounds have you gotten in a car before? What's the most?" "Oh, like 280. Go ahead and get about 300 pounds of pot in here. Let's do this."
I can do that.
Yeah.
He was, as it turns out, the biggest dope, man. Yeah. That's the difference a comma makes.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. You're listening to the KQ Morning Show. Steve, Zepp, Tony, and Ryder on 92 KQRS.
Lay it on the line from Triumph. Triumph reminding everybody that they're the second best Canadian 3-piece band that kind of sounds like Rush. I'll take Rush number 1, and then I'll take Triumph. That's just me. That's how I call it. I mean, and by the way, it's not a competition. It's all music. It's all art. It's whatever you want, whatever you prefer. You're right. But I'm just saying, I'll take Rush in a pinch every time. No, I'm not bagging on Triumph. Great band. They had a hell of a run.
Yeah. Hit the notes.
Hell yeah, they did. You try to hit those notes.
Can't do it.
You're going to need a zip tie around that nutsack, I can tell you that. Hey, how about this? How about we get back to the poll results for the Monday morning leftovers? We share a bunch of possible stories to get into. We got to clean up the inbox from last week. We missed a few good ones. And we've got your votes. We greatly appreciate this every Monday when you share what you would prefer to know about. And no shock to me that number 3, the third most votes this week. Check this out. A Walmart store in Ohio is pressing charges against a former employee. Guy that was working there stood outside a pallet outside the store after having a few cocktails, and, he relieved himself onto bags of potting mix.
Yeah.
72 bags of potting mix.
All right.
It's a long pee.
You got to have a lot of cold beer before you can pee on 72 bags. I'll tell you that right now.
We've all had the endless piss, right? You just stand there. And that's back when you could really piss, when it was a fire hose, not a trickle now. And that's a lot. But it was in the bags, right? That's plastic bags. You get the hose that pumps the water and you hose them off. And maybe a for sale sign out there or something. I don't know.
No, the Walmart is saying that ruined 72 bags of potting mix valued at over $400.
Oh, boy.
Okay,
really?
Seriously.
It's just dirt.
It's just, it's dirt. And again, it's a plastic bag of dirt. Just, you know what? Don't even hose it off. Just give it 5 minutes. No one's going to know.
Can I tell you how many times I peed on your Cheerios? Literally, we grew oats and wheat in South Dakota. Yeah. Probably used, right over there to make your cereal. And I peed in that field all the time.
I thought you were referencing the fact that in the Gorman household there was on occasion people peeing in other people's food, but that's a different story. Someone jumps up and runs to the bathroom. It's like you got to put something in their cereal. They turn
much
their
further
back.
I was much further up the chain than that.
Yeah, you don't. Quick lesson, Gorman household back in the day: don't turn your back on your food if you know it's good for you. You got to watch it like a hawk. Yeah, a lot of people are worried someone's going to eat your food. No. It's going to be tainted. It will be poisoned if you turn your back for too long.
I suppose you'd be suspicious if you came back and they didn't eat it. Like, why didn't you guys eat my food while I was gone?
Yeah.
What'd you do to it?
Yeah, and everyone's like not looking at your plate and they're pretending not to notice your back, picking up your fork and knife. You're like, wait a minute, something's happening here. Yeah. Number 2 on your Monday morning leftovers. No shock here as Ryder tipped the scales pretty heavily. 23% of you voted that you want to hear about this. Burmese pythons, those big-ass snakes that can eat a lot. I think pretty much anybody that knows anything about pythons know they can eat very large animals, creatures that are, in fact, larger than them. A new study has shown that Burmese pythons, which are running wild in the Florida Everglades, they can eat way, way more than scientists realized. Burmese pythons have been found now swallowing entire deer and alligators whole.
Yeah, they dislocate their jaw.
Yeah. They certainly do.
Now, you got a nose like a pig, they can... they can eat like that and still breathe.
They certainly do. Their mouths open to an average of 10.2 inches. Previous studies were more like 8 inches. One of the pythons examined for the study was found as he was swallowing a 77-pound white-tailed deer again.
Oh, wow.
Whole. Just you squeeze that bad boy to death. You bite into him and you squeeze him, and then when he's done breathing, you just swallow a 77-pound deer.
It's humiliating.
Take me all winter. Take me all winter to eat 77 pounds of venison. Yeah, it would be a little humiliating, wouldn't it? Sitting there going, God, a freaking snake got me. By the way, they a lot of times will bite you, grab onto you, and then coil around you.
Yeah.
They get a good hold on you. Does that hurt when they bite you? This is Dr. Brady Barr, National Geographic, getting a little nip from a 12-foot python. What do you think?
Oh, just a little sting.
Yeah.
Painful and just scary as all get out. That guy's life was flashing before his eyes, man.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're just sitting there recording him like that guy that blew his hand off, the Dodgers fan in L.A. His friends are like, all right, guys, if you're done now, have we got the shot? Get this freaking snake off me.
One of the biologists in Florida doing this study, his name is Ian Bartasek. He said, here's a quote, watching an invasive apex predator swallow a full-size deer is something you will never forget. Yeah, I didn't see it, and I'm never going to forget it. I can only imagine what that looked like in real life. He also went on to say that the Burmese pythons are just, as we know, they're destroying native wildlife in the Everglades. He called it the wildlife issue of our time in the Everglades. So to everybody who got those Burmese pythons as pets, and then once they hit 4 or 5 feet long and you realized you had more than you bargained for, and so you just released them into the Everglades, burn in hell, all of you.
Yeah, I think so.
You truly screwed up an entire ecosystem.
Yeah. And for the Florida DNR down there, I don't know if it's a DNR, but their equivalent down there in Florida, I see that you don't allow your python hunting for out-of-state hunters. Open that up to out-of-state hunters, and we'll get a whole bunch of boys from the Midwest to head down there and clean up those pythons for you.
I'm all for it, man. I'd go. I mean, I would go in a tank, but I would go.
Yeah.
Hey, quick shout out to Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. What's happening, Brooklyn Park?
Yeah.
Come on. You guys know what's up, Brooklyn Park. You know what we need you to do right now. Number one story, not surprisingly, America's biggest fears by state. 97% of people in a giant poll admitted they are spooked by something. But that means 3% of people said, no, I'm fearless. There's nothing that scares me.
Yeah.
Liars.
Yeah, no kidding. You're just that embarrassed. The number one fear is death. That's the highest fear factor in 17 states.
Right.
I guess so, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, it's the one thing is going to happen in life. Like I don't like snakes, but I don't know that I'll encounter a snake. I might encounter a snake. I know I'm going to die one day.
But you don't know how it's going to go.
Yeah, it's not the fear of death.
I know it's going to end.
The way.
So, in a python, right?
I see. So it's more about how, not when
right.
or why.
Or maybe it's more about, did you have time to erase your phone to original factory settings before you died?
Oh,
so my family.
Okay.
Clear. Oh my God.
That just I feel like I just put a fork in a socket when you said that. Yeah, you're right. I've been sleeping on how afraid I am of death. The number 2 fear is heights. 8 states said number 1 is heights. I don't have a problem with heights either. So that's good. I mean, I'm feeling so either I'm in great denial or I'm doing okay, one or the other. But then again, number 3, here we go. Snakes. I'm right there with you. I don't. No need. We've already given pythons as much time as they need in a day on this show. But yeah, I'm right there. How about this? The number 4. 4 states said 4 states had as the number 1 fear public speaking,
including Wisconsin.
well, now that checks out.
Yeah.
Now that checks
most of the time they don't know when they've been speaking in public. What did I say last night? What did I? Oh my God.
That completely makes sense. They're just drunk and they're just concerned. Public speaking as a true fear. I can't.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm not. Yeah, I guess. Okay, sure. By the way, tied with enclosed spaces.
No, you mean like claustrophobia? Yeah, heights and claustrophobia. Yeah, I've got a little bit of that going on. I get up too high, I get really squirrely, or claustrophobic. Anywhere in a tight space, I get a lot of anxiety, man. Fight my way out.
Ooh, man.
I suppose if I had to, if a python never mind.
Cornered you in an elevator.
I mean, no, just
top of a building. Yeah.
Top of a python, on the roof of a building. That's my ultimate fear.
A glass elevator on the outside of a 100-story skyscraper with a venomous snake and a constrictor all in one. Yeah, that'd do you in. And then finally on the list, a lot of people in several states, there's a tie between spiders. Stop it. You can just step on it. I don't care about spiders. I mean, you have a snake, you might not be able to step on it. A spider you can step on. But how about this? The fear of failure. Failure. As a general rule, just accept that you're going to fail a lot of if you're trying to do anything, you're going to mess it up. Maybe that's the overarching failure, as in when you look back on your life, you realized I just let myself down. I mean, it could be that failure. I'm not really sure. I approach it from, I mean, every home run, you're going to strike out a lot to get there. That's how I look at it. Man,
you're not failing. You're not living.
Yeah, that's very true. Thank you, Zepp. If you're not failing, you're not living. Bunch of scaredy cats out there. I almost said something I don't think I'm supposed to say. Get your heads out of your asses. All right, moving on. I do have a question for anybody who's ever worked in retail or the fast food industry or pretty much any job where you're dealing with customers. I want you to think about it because we're gonna get to your responses. What's the dumbest thing a customer ever said to you? It's worth a moment or two. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Monday, November 4th. Pink Floyd, Wish You Were Here. You can find the KQ Morning Show podcast anywhere you get podcasts anytime you want. Sponsored by Devani's Pizza and Hot Hoagies. Speaking of Wish You Were Here, I wish Devani's was here with a big bag of food for me right now.
Yeah. Piece of them.
Hope springs eternal. Get to Devani's as soon as you can. You'll feel better about yourself. Make no mistake about that. Let's talk about the jobs we've had where we engage with the customers. What's the dumbest thing a customer has ever said to you? And Tony, I'm going to come straight to you. The Pants Plus days.
It's exactly.
I saw that look on your face.
A customer came out from the dressing room and said, yo, man, I just peed in the dressing room. I hope that's okay. It's like, sure, next time you have to go number 2. Come on, I'm back.
Did he pee into a jug with a lid in the dressing room?
No, all over the carpet. Carpet and the walls. Just let it fly. Okay. Yeah.
Was this an elderly fella?
No, he just had himself a couple cocktails.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Retail piss maven Elton John. I forgot about that story.
At least he went in a bottle.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Wow.
All over the walls, too, man. Yeah. It just kind of, just like a fire hose out of control.
That's a pretty good one right there. I had a summer job in the produce section at a grocery store, 1985. And I would be the guy standing there with the apron on, like stacking bags of potatoes or rearranging the cantaloupe or, loading white onions. And I can't tell you how many times in a big green apron that said Houchins, the name of the store, while unloading boxes of produce, the number of people who'd say, "Excuse me, do you work here?"
Oh,
and it's a standard. But I would think to myself, now if I were just standing here looking at onions, okay, sure. But I'm obviously stocking a shelf. I'm unloading fruit or vegetables or both in an apron, and I'm a college-aged kid. I'm not having fun. Yes, I work here. What kind of question is that? Ryder, do you have retail experience behind the counter?
Yeah. Yes.
Anything come to mind?
Target in Burnsville. I think the one that came up is kind of the opposite of you. I'm wearing my khakis and my red shirt, but I clearly have like a Diet Mountain Dew and something from the Taco Bell in my hand. Walk into the break room and they're like, "Hey, I know I can tell you're about to go on break, but I have a question. Do you mind helping me?" Like, of course I mind. Well, I got 15 minutes, man.
Yeah, really? Come on. I mean, and that Taco Bell, well, no, it will sit just fine. It's not gonna spoil. I'm sorry. I was gonna say you got to get it. No, you can eat that stuff in a year. It's gonna be exactly the same. I worked a lot of fast food. Mostly pizza. I had several jobs in pizza joints, and I would oftentimes hear this one, like, someone just wants a slice, and I say, yeah, can I get like pepperoni, mushroom, and is it more for the toppings each one? And I'd go, yeah. Well, I mean, so if I get pepperoni, is that? But I can't just add mushroom. I go, no, you can add mushroom. I mean, it costs more, and it was something like 35 cents more per topping. It wasn't a huge deal breaker. Maybe, I mean, this is a long time ago, and people would literally just look at me and go, okay, just the pepperoni then. And I'm just thinking, okay, first of all, why do you think toppings aren't, why should they all be included?
Yeah.
And secondly, but these things happen. 651-989-ROCK is the KQ Talking text line. We would love to hear of the dumbest things customers have ever said to you. Tony, I believe we have a caller from Newport.
Sure do. Cruiser from Newport with a customer story.
Cruiser, good morning.
Good morning. Hey, I got a couple of quick ones for you.
Lay it on me.
Okay, so the young man, I've always worked in service my whole life, so the young man was working at a hardware store, and a middle-aged woman come in and said, "Hey, I'm looking for some goose tape." Well, I was a little confused. I said, "Is it about this wide and gray?" And she went, "Yeah." I said, "You mean duct tape?" "Oh," she says, "goose ducks are all the same."
Yeah, close enough.
There you go.
And the other one is like, I spent my whole life working on swimming pools, and my job was replacing liners in pools, and of course you got to refill them. The customer meant to say, "Where do we put the garden hose?" But his question was, "Do we fill the shallow end first?" As soon as it came out of his mouth, he went, "Oh, I can't believe I said that."
That's a good one. That's a good one. Cruiser, thank you, brother. We appreciate it.
All right, bye.
Man, I like Cruiser. Hit it and quit it quick.
Yeah.
Here's a good text that came in. I had a woman at a table I was serving ordered chips and salsa. She placed her main order and then asked that the tacos not come with tomato because she was allergic. I politely told her, stop eating the salsa immediately if that's the case.
Yeah.
She looked me straight in the eye and replied, "No, they're blended, so it's okay."
Well, sure.
Oh, yeah.
And then she blew up like a balloon. That's a pretty strong one. 651-989-ROCK. I believe we have Terry from St. Paul on hold. Terry, are you with us?
I'm with you.
Terry, give me your favorite band.
Led Zeppelin all the way.
Right on. Favorite team, any sport.
Oh God, Vikings.
That'll work. Zeppelin and the Vikings. There's a. I mean, you got the land of the ice and snow and the lyric and all that. That's perfectly good. All right, Terry, give us your story. What do you got?
So I was actually a patron at a restaurant, and the waitress asked me, "What would you like to drink?" And I said, "An iced tea, please." And she said, "Would you like that hot or cold?"
Well, sure.
And I looked at my friend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was kind of like, okay, all righty then.
Yeah, right. You get into the you're just on autopilot at some point in those jobs. It's probably not the first time that person said that to a customer. Thanks for the call, Terry. My dad used to say, my dad was a big stickler for that. He would say, he loved to say things to people to prove that they weren't really paying attention. And if he were like at a Denny's and he's paying the check, I saw him do this several times at a IHOP or Denny's, wherever we'd be somewhere and get breakfast. And he'd walk up to the register, hand them the receipt, and they'd go, "And how was everything today, sir?" And he would smile and go, "Not very good at all." And they go, "Great." They wouldn't even bat an eyebrow. They just keep ringing it up and doing their thing,
Yeah, Rochelle's got a pretty good one here on our KQ Facebook post. This isn't a dumb question, but it's a dumb thing to ask them to do. I don't know if they're punking Rochelle or not. Had a customer that brought a sweater to the checkout, asked me if I could slip it on so she could see what it looked like. So I threw it on over my clothes. She asked if I would twirl around in it several times in circles. This sounds like something I would do, but she did end up buying it. I'm glad she left happy. What the? You're very patient, Rochelle.
No kidding.
Way too Minnesota nice.
Way too Minnesota nice.
Yeah.
On the Facebook page, Wendy wrote, "A customer's dog crapped on the floor. I said, 'Excuse me, sir, would you please clean up after your dog?' The customer said, 'No, that's your job.'" I don't know what store it was or restaurant or anything, but let me tell you something. That would be that's exact. That's and then she said, "You're banned from the store permanently." Yeah, no kidding. First of all, don't bring a dog into a store. I love dogs. I love having dogs with me, but that's more often than not, it's just not going to go the way you're hoping.
Yeah, maybe simple. A pet store. Everybody seems to do that, but. Still, leave them out in the car with the windows rolled up in the middle of July. That's the place for them, I think.
651-989-ROCK. I believe we've got John on hold right now. John, are you with us?
I am.
John, give me your favorite band.
Pink Floyd.
Favorite team, any sport?
Minnesota Wild.
All right, Wild and Floyd. That's a good combination. What have you got for us, sir?
All right, so I was a waiter at a restaurant, and this guy ordered his prime rib well done. And I kind of looked at him and said, "Well, are you sure you want it well done?" And he said, "My doctor said I had to stop eating red meat." And he
oh, come on. That's great.
I looked at this guy. I thought he was messing with me.
Yeah.
And I said, You're serious? And he goes, "Absolutely." And I said, "Okay, one prime rib coming up."
Yeah, make it black.
Oh my God!
What about black meat? Can I? All right.
It's fantastic. Thank you for the call. Not to mention the crime against the crime against humanity that is a well done order of prime rib to begin with.
Exactly. Just order some shoe leather. We'll talk about that. Kayla Ray had a customer called saying she choked on a piece of plastic while eating their salmon, and it was the second time it happened. Said they're lucky she's okay. Explained to her that it was a pop-up timer, clearly displayed on the box and cooking instructions.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she never responded to that. Yeah.
Here's a text. A customer wanted a refund for incense that she had purchased, as well as reimbursement for the curtain she burned because we did not specifically tell her not to lean a burning incense stick against fabric.
No, well, see, I'm sure there's a disclaimer on there now, or some sort of warning sticker. Do not. Yeah,
that's when you are perfectly within your rights as a human to open hand slap someone in the back of the head.
I feel like
not across the face, just right to the back of the head. Come on.
Yeah,
absolutely insane.
Here's some older ladies asked a girl folding clothes at a department store to change the buttons in the elevator because they found them confusing.
What?
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. All right.
Okay. I don't even know what that could possibly be. That's like just because you have dyslexia doesn't mean the rest of us have to rearrange the buttons for you.
Oh, this is a great one. A concierge on a cruise ship got a call from a passenger. Said she was trapped in her cabin, couldn't get out. He asked her how exactly she was trapped. She said there were 2 doors in the room. One went to the bathroom, but the other one had a "Do Not Disturb" sign on the door handle. Hanging on her side, she couldn't.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. What the hell?
Yeah. All right,
I hope she's hot and single.
651-989-ROCK is the KQ Talking text line. I believe we have Lori on the horn. Lori, are you with us?
I'm here.
Lori, give me your favorite band.
Steely Dan.
Nice. Give me your favorite team, any sport.
Wild.
Excellent. What have you got for us, Lori?
Back in the 80s, I was a front desk clerk at the St. Paul Hotel, and there was a big farming convention going on, and so all the farmers were checking in, and one of the things, we do is take their credit card for incidental charges, and this farmer took his Sears credit card out of his wallet and asked if that would be acceptable.
Pretty good. That's
anyway,
great. Yeah, no,
have
great.
a good day, guys.
Thank you for the call. My brother Jim would just torment waiters. He would put like a Sears card or his Home Depot card. As the waiter would come up with a check, he would stick that in the credit card thing, and they'd walk away, and then they'd come back and they'd go, "Oh, sir, I think you put the wrong card in here." And then he would go, "Oh my God," and he would feign perfect embarrassment, and then he would take the Home Depot card, and then he would put in the Best Buy card, and the person would never look again. They would just, well, there's no way he's doing it twice. And I've watched him do that sometimes 3 and 4 times before the waiter actually looks and then realizes this guy's a jerk, and he's pulling your chain. That's how that's working. Let's see. I worked at a restaurant in the kitchen. Another text. My manager asked me to grab something from the freezer and set it out so that it can unthaw. I told her that it's already unthawed. She argued with me for 10 minutes. Unthawed and she said that unthawed and frozen are not the same thing. Yeah, I think you were both drunk. I just think you were both drunk. That's how that works.
And Nancy writes on our Facebook page, customer on Christmas Eve thought the big box store I worked at should donate leftover trees to homeless people.
Well, something to cuddle.
Yeah. Yeah. Poor homeless people out there without a tree.
I work at I am a waitress at a steakhouse. I've had people ask me the difference between a baked potato and a mashed potato. I've had people ask me the difference between a fried steak and a fried chicken. It's very hard. It's very hard for me to answer these questions with a straight face.
Yeah, it's tough when you get that fried steak back and it's not breaded.
It's you know what? You just never know. You
chicken fried steak is what they want.
Speaking of heated foods, Tony looks to be unpacking a few things over there. I see a loaf of bread. I see hockey tickets,
you do.
And I see a toaster. Oh boy, wild tickets and toast. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. It's the KQ Morning Show. Steve, Zepp, Tony, and Ryder on Minnesota's classic rock 92 KQRS.
Monday, November the 4th. On November the 16th, the Dallas Stars. The Dallas Stars.
Dun, dun, dun.
We'll be at the XL Energy Center taking on the Minnesota Wild. We would love to give away some tickets right now. We need 2 callers on the KQ Talk and Text line, 651-989-ROCK. 651-989-ROCK. We will take callers number 9 and 2. You will play a game, a Monday staple you will play to try to win those hockey tickets. So get on the horn right now. Good luck getting in on this one. And whilst we are lining up a couple of callers, want to take a moment to say a hail and hearty good morning to our friends in River Falls, Wisconsin.
Hey, over there, River Falls, probably a little glum in Mudville this morning with the big loss to the Detroit Lions.
I know
at
one person
home.
who's happy about it.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. 7-1.
Yeah.
Team's no joke.
It's gonna be a hard fall for you this year at the end of the season.
It's going to be, I tell you what, it's a hard fall as people who thought Jordan Love was the future. The guy's it's not looking that great the last few weeks. We all have ups and downs, especially, second, third year quarterbacks. But I don't know, man. I mean, boy, the stock is trading a little lower than it was a few weeks ago for Jordan Love over there.
Yeah, he still seems pretty dinged up, and I don't know. It was just nice to see the rain coming down in Lambeau. Would have been nicer if it was snow, but I like to see a good muddy game there. But yeah,
we'll get there soon enough. But to our friends in River Falls, University of Wisconsin has a campus over there, UWRF in River Falls. I took a few classes there, but no, I didn't. What am I talking about? But it looks like a lovely campus.
Yeah, I actually many, many, many years ago, you could almost count it in decades, dated a young gal that was going to school there at the time. I guess we were both young. And she said she was on the diving team. And I went, I didn't know they had a diving team. And it turns out they don't. She was talking about something else. It was a great weekend.
Okay.
That's such a true story. She goes, I met her at the bar. She goes, I'm like, what, you have a diving team?
Yeah.
And God bless her wherever you're at out there, Wendy. Mwah.
All right. This one's for you, Wendy. All right, we got a couple people locked and loaded to play a game. Tony, it's Monday. I mean, just, how exciting can it get around here? We're all about to find out, aren't we?
It's that time. It's that time again to beat the toaster. So here's what we're going to do. There's a toaster right here in the studio, of course. We're going to pop a slice of bread in there. Then we give you a category that requires some thought. And then you list and name spontaneously whatever pops into your head, as many as possible. But you only have 15 seconds to do so before the toast pops.
Nice. And oddly enough, you've got what looks to be a few slices of bannock, that weird Scottish bread on the table. So I wasn't expecting that, but okay, fair enough.
Always have some bannock at the ready.
Sounds like an old show from Neil Bannock. Like an old private eye, but he's actually just a baker in Scotland.
That solves crimes.
Like another loaf of bannock, would ya? All right, fair enough. Let's get to it. We got two people ready to rock. Who's contestant number one, Tony?
First up is David from the fine city of Minneapolis.
David, good morning, sir.
Morning.
David, give me your favorite band.
Oh, they were just in town last night. NRBQ.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa, where are they?
Right on. And give me your favorite team, any sport.
That's easy. Alabama Roll Tide football.
Wow.
Roll Tide.
That's absolutely the first. I believe that's the first of either of those we've had. First NRBQ fan. Fine taste, sir, if I do say so myself. And as for Alabama, let's just get on to beat the toaster, shall we? Okay.
Congratulations on your great season.
Oh, boy. There we go. All right, David, you know what we're doing here, right? You understand how this works?
Yep.
All right, Tony, take it away.
All right, David, as you know, or maybe you don't, there's a little election tomorrow, so we're going to kind of go with that theme. So first up, why don't you give me words that rhyme with Trump? Go.
Dump, stump, lump, mump, pumps, scrump, stump, stump.
Ooh.
Mump and scrump are a little questionable, but...
No, mump is a word, isn't it?
Is it?
It's the single of mumps,
Yeah,
right?
you get the mumps.
Get a mump, a single mump. All right.
I did punch in scrumps here. Anything small or undersized, a withered, shriveled, or undergrown person would be a scrump.
He's a scrumpy is.
Fair
That's
enough.
not the word we use. They're little scrumps.
All right.
So what's our total there then? I have 8 in front of me. Is that what you're checking out at?
All right.
That's a pretty strong effort, David.
Nice.
My gosh. Coming in hot for round 1. Well played, sir. We're going to put you on hold for a sec. We're going to go to contestant number 2 for round 1. Who is contestant number 2?
Say hey to Jamie from White Bear Lake.
Jamie, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
Great, thank you very much. Give me your favorite band.
Def Leppard, old rocker.
Give me your favorite team, any sport.
Minnesota Wild.
There you go. All right, well, we got wild tickets right here on the table. Beat the toaster, round 1. Good luck.
Okay.
All right, Jamie, dear, why don't you give me famous people with the first or last name of Washington? Go.
George Washington, Denzel Washington. Oh, geez. What's that lady's name? Oh, my God. I suck at this. Oh, you gave me a hard one. Washington.
I thought you were going to say Mrs. Washington.
Mrs. Washington. Martha Washington.
Martha, yes.
That's
I think you were reaching for Carrie Washington.
Oh, that would be a good one.
That's what I thought.
Right?
Washington Irving.
I was going to say, I like that you went with the first or last name. Washington Carver. Isn't there a Washington Carver? Yeah.
Booker T.
Guys, that was hard.
That was hard.
Oh,
Yeah.
You did good, though. Nice giggle, too.
Make no mistake,
geez.
Jamie, make no mistake. Tony's a bit of a jerk sometimes. Okay, so...
No.
But no, we've had bigger comebacks than this. So just hang tight. Round 2 is coming up next. You have a chance to get back off the schneid. Let's go back to David for round 2. David, are you ready, sir?
I'm ready.
You are ready. Let's go.
All right, David, name some jobs, titles, or positions you can have if you work in politics. Go.
Senator, governor, president, aide, lieutenant general,
Vice President, Secretary of State, First Lady.
The hell, are you a teacher? Wow. Jeez, man. God,
Captain
smart.
Civics over there. David with that's another 8 count I got.
Yeah, I got it.
Boom. That's 16 total, sir. Very strong.
Yeah.
Very well played. My man is ready to rock the Wild tickets. But that means, but it doesn't mean it's a done deal. We still have Jamie for round 2. Okay, Jamie, you got your work cut out for you. You need 14 to tie.
Oh, my God.
It's been done. It has been done.
Yes.
Okay, all right. We count. So it's not going to be give us a number, but it's going to be close, Tony. Right? We're going to give her an easy one. Give her a chance.
This should be kind of fun. I think
give us a number between 1 and 14. No, I'm kidding. It's not that. It's not that.
Yeah, that works.
All right, Jamie, take a deep breath, cleansing breath. You can handle this.
Okay.
Like the I voted sticker. What are some things you do in your life that you could announce by the wearing of a sticker? And what would the sticker say? Go.
It's a girl. It's a boy. I'm a grandma. I'm a grandpa. I'm a mom. I'm a dad. Peace sign.
I'm a loser.
Man, start.
I'm a loser.
No, come on. I kid because I love.
That was. Hey,
I suck at this game.
No, that was a hard one.
Really good.
That was a good one.
Jamie, you came out of the gate running hard on round 2. Total of 9. Listen, 7 for round 2 is a darn good effort. Make no mistake about it. But David just, I'm sorry, he just boat raced you. That happens around here sometimes. David, you have won the tickets, sir. November 16th, Minnesota Wild versus the Dallas Stars. Congratulations. Thank you guys both for calling in and playing.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
You got it.
See you there, David.
Man. I believe Quincy Jones, who we lost yesterday at the age of 91, he produced the Beat the Toaster music as well.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh, we worked for hours on that.
Yeah. I mean, man, he's like, come on, Tony. You're just not, you got to trust yourself on this, man. You got to just get in touch with the muse. Inspiration should be the only thing that, no, that's none of that's true. None of that's true at all. But we do have a few other things we need to discuss today. I mean, I have a question for you. I'm going to play a little hit of something, and I'm curious. What do you think got this guy all bent out of shape? Take a listen.
Peanut was the best thing that ever happened to us.
One more time, please.
Peanut was the best thing that ever happened to us.
Wow. Peanut was the best thing that ever happened to us. I don't think it's a peanut allergy. But I do think you're going to want to know what's got this guy so upset. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
Boy, this is some tough news. Tough news out of New York State. We asked you earlier, what do you think's going on with this guy? Let's hear that audio again, Zup.
All right, let me, I just had another piece ready to go. Here it is. No, here it is.
Peanut was the best thing that ever happened to us.
Yeah.
Peanut was the best thing that ever happened to us. Peanut.
Yeah.
Well, let's just get right to it. Peanut was a squirrel.
Not his child, not his grandma.
No.
Not some $1 million app that he invented.
Not a
squirrel.
Not a nickname. not a euphemism. Not a game to be played. No, Peanut was a squirrel, a rat with a bushy tail. That's what I call it. Peanut was an orphan squirrel that had become a social media star because Peanut was found by a guy who then turned him into an Instagram sensation. Put little cute cowboy hats on him, basically made that squirrel the laughingstock of all other squirrels.
That's not easy to do.
No, it's really not. So this is a dude who lives in Pine City, New York, which is over by the Pennsylvania border. Small little area. Guy has a squirrel, not only a squirrel, also a pet raccoon. And there apparently were some anonymous reports that people said that this guy was keeping these animals. He didn't have the proper permits. You're not allowed to just keep a squirrel and a raccoon, I guess, as a pet.
You can keep them with a permit? That seems crazy.
It does seem kind of crazy. There was also an anonymous report of a bite or two. Long story short, some officials showed up at this guy's house and they took Peanut the squirrel. They removed Peanut from the, as it's called, Peanuts Freedom Farm Animal Sanctuary. This is something they shared on October 30th on Peanut's Instagram account. That's right. A squirrel with an Instagram account.
Yeah.
It is with profound sorrow that we share the heartbreaking news. On October 30th, the DEC made the devastating decision to euthanize our beloved Peanut the squirrel and Fred the raccoon. Despite our passionate outcry for compassion, the agency ignored our pleas, leaving us in deep shock and grief. They decided the agency wanted to test for rabies. They were concerned. People had said they were bitten. You can't test for rabies on a live animal. You got to kill that bad boy. Peanut the squirrel has gone on to squirrel heaven.
No, well, I'm not going to accuse him of crocodile tears here. Actually, I am. So here he is. He's cooked. So anyway, he's taking donations, and he's just a big moneymaker for him with this goofy little stupid squirrel that people are buying into. You tell me, does this sound sincere?
Peanut was the best thing that ever happened to us. You need that many officers to show up to my house to literally pull my closets apart. We were ready to comply. We were ready to get the paperwork. We were in the process of doing that. We needed a little bit of guidance from the DEC.
To take Peanut away from my family is not only, heart-wrenching, but then you take it away from the organization that solely gets its funding from social media that requires Peanut to get that funding.
That requires Peanut to get that funding. The crying got even worse.
Best thing that ever happened to us. And we got confirmation that they put him down. I want to continue to fight this fight as much as I can, but we need all of you to come together and help us. Please continue to help us raise money for the ongoing legal battles and for our nonprofit.
Legal battles.
Hey, Peanut had this to say. Could you get a taxidermy, Peanut?
You could.
As a keepsake?
I know this much. I've been to upstate western rural New York. You know what they have up there by the millions? Squirrels.
Yeah.
Just go get another one.
Yeah.
What do you mean? That's a living squirrel. Peanut, too, isn't going to make nearly as much money as a dead Peanut.
Man.
Yeah, he's got to fight the fight. He has legal battles. There are lawyers lined up out there in Pine City, New York, waiting to take on the case of Peanut.
Peanut spelled P''NUT or straight up
God, I
all
hate him
caps
more.
PNUT.
All right, yeah.
The guy. This gentleman who Mark Longo is his name. He also said he was in the process of getting Peanut certified as an educational animal. He could take it into schools and teach children about how to sew little cowboy hats for squirrels.
Yeah, staple it right to their head.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well,
I have eaten a squirrel before.
Sure.
Not my thing, really. A little chewy, if you ask me.
Yeah, gamey.
Anything that you have to put into a stew, everybody goes, well, you got to put it in a stew. Well, if you're putting it in a stew, you're just hiding it is all you're doing.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
The guy's, on some level pretty upset. I'm sure Peanut, was a little, but this brings back a painful memory. My brother brought in a baby squirrel once, adopted it. And by the way, not when we were kids. We were like in our 20s. And my brother Dave was crashing with me for a few months in Atlanta, which can only tell you how desperate he was in life to be, hey, can I sleep on 22-year-old Steve Gorman's floor? But one day he found a squirrel, like a baby squirrel, and he brought it into the apartment. And I'm like, what are you doing with that? He goes, it's obviously orphaned or something. He was just out in the parking lot. I'm going to raise him. And I'm like, no, raise a squirrel.
Raise him as my son.
Yeah, what are you, nuts? And he was like, what do you think we should feed a squirrel? I'm like, I don't know. There's no Google
A
yet.
hammer to the head.
The internet doesn't exist. How am I supposed to know? I work at a pizza joint. And he got it in his head that he would give this squirrel baby formula. Human baby formula.
Little dropper?
Yep, got a medicine dropper, giving it formula, and that little baby squirrel was loving that stuff up until it went into a massive seizure and died.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
That's how that works.
And that happened when my brother was actually not in the apartment. I watched this whole thing happen. I felt it was kind of horrible. He came in, I said, and we called this squirrel Sharpie, like as in the pen. His name was Sharpie the squirrel.
That's adorable.
And I said, hey, Sharpie's Sharpies didn't make it. He's like, what are you talking about? And I said, he just started having like some spasms and he seizured out and he's gone. And this is a true thing. My brother looked me in the eye and he goes, what did you do? I'm like, what did I do? Oh, I choked your squirrel to death with my bare hands.
Yeah.
I watched him die, and I stood over him, and I made sure he didn't feel alone. That's what I did. Pet squirrel.
Held his paw.
This is the same, by the way, my same brother who had ferrets when he was in college. Oh, God, ferrets. Get away from that.
He liked the varmints, didn't he? Yeah.
That musky little odor. Also, a pet possum at one time. Penobscot has a possum.
All right.
He's a middle school science teacher. Probably no surprise to anybody.
Oh, yeah, that does make sense. Besides squirrels, everyone knows they don't eat baby formula. They eat insulation from the inside of my truck engine.
That's right.
And plastic and wiring. That's what they eat, those little bastards.
Man, there's enough. There's so many. You go so many shelters. They got puppies. They got kittens. Just what is with the squirrel thing? What's with the ferret thing? Those animals are not meant to be, contained. Did you hear this story? A couple years ago, there's a resolution now in a California court after a couple years ago. Okay, not a squirrel, but a goat. Shasta, California, the district fair, they have a thing where they give kids small animals and they teach them how to raise animals, and it's a part of this annual fair. And a 9-year-old girl paid or got involved in a thing to teach her how to raise a goat. Like she's dealing with it. When it came time to sell the goat cedar, you take your goat to the fair, you explain that you've learned how goats live and I can take care of this goat. And then I guess part of the deal is you then sell it because the animals are then meant to be butchered. And 9-year-old girl was like, no, wait, I've grown close to the goat. I don't want to sell it. The family went to the fair officials and said, hey, we know we had a deal here, but we've actually decided we want to keep the goat. And the fair responded by calling the Shasta County Sheriff's Office and saying, go get that damn goat back from this family. And they sent deputies to the home. They took the goat and they actually had it butchered.
What? Butchered for whom? Who's
know.
Eating goat?
I really don't know. The family had actually taken the goat to a place called Billy's Mini Farm while they were hoping to get this dispute resolved. But the main thing is that the goat was confiscated by sheriff's deputies and taken to a place to be butchered. A 9-year-old girl tears not enough.
Oh God!
And now after a couple years of litigation, it looks like this 9-year-old girl will be receiving a $300,000 settlement.
What?
Jeez.
$300,000 to the girl's family to settle this thing.
I mean, you can have pretty much any living thing in my house, up to and including one of my children, for $300,000.
By the way, true story. I looked over and Chauncey's giving me this evil eye right now.
Yeah.
He's like, don't you say it. Don't you say it.
Oh, he's had a good run, that Chauncey.
He's had a great run.
Think of all the good he could do with by giving you $300,000. I mean,
I don't know that $300,000 might scratch the surface on what we've paid to keep this bastard alive for 7.5 years. I can tell you that. All these lung problems he's got. Jeez, oh Pete.
I don't know what lesson the girl learns from this, although I don't know why they couldn't have let her keep the damn goat either, because, again, who is buying goat meat? I mean, you're giving it to what? The Purina dog food company or something, I'm guessing, or something? The glue factory? I don't know what they use goat meat for, but I'm pretty sure it's not mutton, for crying out loud.
I have to think at least one of the several sheriff's deputies on the case when at some point, surely he said, wait, why are we doing this? What's really, why do we have to go take a goat from a 9-year-old girl? That's the rules. We just got our orders.
All right.
Yeah, okay. But the lesson, as always, is just don't get too close to your animals, You never know when someone's going to come and confiscate them.
No, I learned that as a young kid. We had bottle calves. So when the cow would die, you had a calf. You had an orphan calf, and you would have to feed the calf and get it to a certain age when Dad would then put it on a truck. And that was understood. That was implied. There was no wiggle room there, no gray area. And I named mine Mickey, and Dad said, don't name the calf. But I did name it Mickey, and cried and blubbered just like that stupid Mark guy did about Peanut as Mickey was driven away. Probably ate Mickey later that year.
I was going to say, those Mickey burgers, man, you pay the price emotionally, but that's a damn fine cut of meat.
Yeah, with tears in it, just like my Fireball.
I have. I'm the guy saying like, don't get too close to your animals. I of course. Every animal I've ever lost is like the worst day of my life. I'm so attached. We had our dog years ago, Clementine, and we had a neighbor who'd grown up on a farm. And when Clementine died, and Rosemary and I were quite literally devastated. And our dear friend Jill, who we love to death, she was like, "Oh, so you got another one already? Are you going to get another one? You got one lined up?" And I go, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "Another dog." And her husband had to explain that she grew up on a farm. She just doesn't quite get dogs not being just animals that work.
Yeah.
And we were like, yeah, okay, so there's a cyborg in our house now offering condolences. Okay, great. Love you, but no.
No.
That was a tough one. 651-989-ROCK is the KQ Talk and text line. I believe we can clear some of the misconceptions we've been discussing up with Alan, who is on line one. Alan, are you with us?
I am.
What do you got for us, brother?
Well, goats are actually part of, in the Muslim culture, it's part of what they call the halal diet.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I knew this was coming.
So it's been part of that for a long time. The other thing with goats, too, that a lot of people are not, or some may be aware, some not, they make excellent companions for horses.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Right.
And so goats are wonderful,
So you're contending that the Muslims came for her goat.
Right. But that's like I say, that's a cultural thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know that that's what he said. Maybe it wasn't the Muslims. Maybe it was a thoroughbred owner or two who needed. Maybe cedar wasn't butchered, but was more appropriately just placed into a stable next to a thoroughbred.
Or maybe they screwed it up and tried to feed cedar to a thoroughbred.
That'd be a misconstrued plan for sure. Thank you for the call, Alan. I've seen thoroughbred stables, and you walk in, and every now and again you see a giant horse, and yeah, sure enough, right there in the corner, curled up in his little stable, is a goat. Keeps the animals. It calms down horses for some reason to have a goat nearby. If you brought a goat into the studio, I would not calm down.
Oh, no, me neither.
Nothing about that would soothe my soul.
Right. Was it Walnut, the goat that was missing not too far from the radio station in the last year, and they only found the head?
That was
that
was right when I got to town. Okay. That poor goat was
By the way,
in this area.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 markets in the Minneapolis area sell goat meat.
We just got a call. They had it featured at Costco. You can get cubed goat.
Wow, this is
in bulk.
I like to think if you're not learning, you're not living, which means we are very much alive today. That's fantastic. I had no idea I was going to get such a goat lesson.
Next tailgate.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, old goat Chislick, yeah.
There's got to be a college team out there. Some team has a mascot that's a goat of some sort somewhere.
Yeah, I feel less sorry for the 9-year-old.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, you know what? Your goat, it's for the good of the people. Quit being so selfish, hogging the goat all for yourself.
9-year-old kids need to get a little hard lesson in reality. Well, I guess she did. Never mind.
Yeah.
Well, no, the hard lesson softened by the $300,000 check.
Very much, yeah.
Jeez. Hey, the Eagles have added more shows. Speaking of goats, some people think that's the greatest band of all time. The Eagles have added more shows in 2025 for their residency at Sphere in Las Vegas. You could be there. Why don't you try to score a trip for 2? That's going to include flights, a 2-night stay at the Venetian Resort, Las Vegas, and tickets to the concert plus a VIP experience package. Text the national keyword woman to 95819 for a chance to win. Get on it. The top 5 at 9 coming up. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. You're listening to the KQ Morning Show. Steve, Zepp, Tony, and Ryder on 92 KQRS.
Good morning. The holiday's coming up around the corner, and our buddies from the St. Croix Valley Riders Association, as per usual, got their thumb on the pulse. Donnie Morley, we have him on the show occasionally. A good friend of the show is got something we want to talk about. That would be the Christmas toy donation. Donnie, good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning, fella. Am I too late for toast?
There's always time for toast.
Sorry. Next Monday, man, you got to get up a little earlier to get on the toast train. But you do have a Christmas toy donation coming up. Give us the dirt, man. What's happening? When and where and all the good stuff.
All right, guys. Well, first off, thanks for having us on again. Saturday, December 7th, from 12 noon to 2 p.m. at the American Legion in St. Paul Park. That's at 328 Broadway Avenue, St. Paul Park, Minnesota. Mm-hmm. We have a kids' Christmas party. We bring a ton of donated toys, bikes, and some other stuff. The kids get to come through with their families. It's all free to everybody. And usually we have 100 to 200 families come through. This is the 30th year we've done this. And so we have free toys. We got Santa Claus there. Kids can take pictures with Santa Claus. We got a ton of Santa Claus helpers. We do face painting. We have cookies and cookie decorations. We have coloring books. And they do all them activities right there while they're waiting in line or after they've gotten their toy. St. Paul Park, Ron brings down fire engine number 3, and he gives the kids rides on the fire engine. St. Paul, and that's a blast, actually, especially when he brings out the fire hose. Okay,
and
not really.
Just sprays down the kids just because gives Santa a good blast to the face.
Yeah. And if it's below freezing, it slows them all down and makes them easier to catch. St. Paul Park Police will show up unless they're on a call. And then we also have a motorcycle down there with mom and dad and kids can pose for pictures. So it's a really good time. It's a lot of busyness to shove into 2 hours. And I promise you, it makes you not want to have kids after 2 hours of that kind of chaos.
You're already leapfrogging to the late holiday feeling. Well, Donnie, I'm on the your webpage, stcroixvalleyriders.org. You go to events, you go to charity. I'm watching a lot of pictures go by of this event from last year. Would make the elves at the North Pole blush. So many toys. So you're taking the toy donations until December 10th? Can people do that, or how do you get the toys?
So we're going to give them my email, the president at scvr.org. If you want to donate toys or cash for this cause, just shoot me an email. I'll be more than happy to reach out. We have 30 leaders in our organization. If I can't make it there, we'll get somebody there. We'll come and pick it up, or we'll give you a mailing address. Our P.O. box in St. Paul Park, you can mail in a check. We can also drop toys off. We have 5 really awesome sponsors that are affiliated with St. Croix Valley Riders. That's Big Guys Barbecue and Roadhouse in Hudson, Wisconsin. He's got a toy drop box. The Mac Shack in Red Wing, Minnesota. He's got a toy drop box. Asylum Cycle in Newport, Minnesota. He's got a drop box. The R Bar in Randolph, Minnesota. They have a drop box. And the Outpost Bar and Grill in Bay City, Wisconsin. They have a drop box.
All right.
So any of those 5 locations, we'll get those posted on our website as well. Like you said, the St. Croix Valley Riders .org website.
Yeah, sounds great. All right, well, so this, and then the big event, St. Paul Park American Legion, December 7th for a couple of hours, and you're going to have maybe a couple of hundred families receiving gifts for kids that might not get this stuff. I'm looking at bicycles, a lot of things in boxes here, and dolls and all that good jazz. And don't forget about the older kids, too, not just the little kids stuff, but some of the older kids, stuff for them as well.
Yeah, that's right. And then what we normally do at the end of this event, we usually have some toys left over. We immediately go to HCMC with a truckload of toys. HCMC, they don't have people donating toys to their children's ward, so that's what we do. We've done that for a couple years now, and the smiles on their face, even the staff, giving them something to help those little kids out there at HCMC that are dealing with whatever their problems might be. And then this year, if we do have a plethora of toys, we're going to go to an undisclosed location, to a women's shelter, and then we'll hit up Children's Hospital.
I love it. Bikers with Big Hearts, Donnie. Thank you. stcroixvalleyriders.org. Charity events. Make sure you get those locations where people can drop their toys off up on there for us.
All right.
Donnie, thanks as always, brother. Talk to you soon.
You guys be good. We'll see you soon.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Donnie. Donnie, keep on trucking. Texted me from earlier this morning. On the road, trucking from Brainerd to Babbitt. Stopped to call that in this morning. We appreciate it.
Right on. Absolutely. All right. It is just about time. In fact, it is the time for your top 5 at 9. 5 stories we feel like you're going to need to get your day off on the right foot. Number 5, Halloween in the Twin Cities this year, 2024, as in just a few days ago, the wettest ever. Go figure. The National Weather Service says the Twin Cities got 1.25 inches of rain and melted snow on Thursday, and that surpassed the amount of liquid that actually fell during that historic blizzard of 91. Obviously, rain and snow are not the same thing. It doesn't take a whole lot of water to make a ton of snow.
No.
So this is interesting. Impact-wise, 91 is still the big one that everyone talks about.
Yeah.
But that said, we got more water, if you will, this year than any other. So finally, we can say to people, stop talking about 91. What about 24? What about
I was out there.
I stepped in a puddle that year, man. It was terrible.
Out there with my squeegee, my galoshes. It was just a mess.
Oh, man. The kids are going to be talking about that one for minutes. Number 4 on your top 5 at 9. Boy, Fireball whiskey. We've all made that mistake at least once. Some of us have made that mistake more than once. And now Fireball whiskey has got a new special offshoot brand. They're going to have little special bottles of what they call Cryer Ball as opposed to Fireball.
Oh, wow.
Cryer Ball. This is not anything to do with the actor John Cryer. This is they're going. Okay, you know how sports fans love to say, "I'll drink your tears, choke on your tears, loser." There's always a thing about you're gonna. Fireball whiskey is embracing competitive spirit, that's what they say, by blending Fireball with actual human tears of fans, of football fans whose teams have just lost a big game. This is so insane.
Yeah.
Fireball will be on hand for 6 big football games, 3 in college and 3 in the pros. They started over the weekend. Florida versus Georgia in college football. They're going to be at the Chicago Bears versus Packers game November 17th and a few others. They will have people stationed at the exits. They will ask losing fans to donate their tears.
No.
As if they think fans are literally walking out of the stadium weeping. And if so, they say they're going to capture drops that would be teardrops, quote, stored. They will be stored in sealed, sterile jars, then safely transported to a secure facility for storing and distillation. Now, of course, what this means is, okay, if you're a Packers fan and you beat the Bears, you're going to want to buy that bottle later that says Chicago Bear tears in this bottle. They're not really going to be there. This is the dumbest thing ever. If somebody asked me for my tears, I would, if I were actually crying, trust me, I'd work some snot into there too.
Oh, yeah, right. Hawk a lug in there. This is how you know Fireball sucks, when you got to come up with this kind of crap to sell it.
Pretty much, yeah. Like I say, we've all made that mistake once. If you've made it more than once, I don't feel sorry for you.
Yeah, no, been there, done that. It mixes well into some hot toddies. You can dilute it down and dump it in and make yourself a hot toddy out of it. But yeah, this is silly. And if you're really going to try and collect tears from fans exiting the Bears-Packers game, wear a cup and a hockey helmet, some protection.
Yeah, that's a good way to get your ass kicked.
Yeah.
Number 3 on your top 5 at 9. Minnesota is in great shape. As in, look, there's 50 of the United States. We are number 3 on the list of best place to be in case of an alien invasion. You want to survive? You want to survive an alien invasion? Come to Minnesota, because only Virginia and Alabama have a better shot of you surviving.
Yeah, it's flyover land, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Just keep going, aliens. Too cold to land here. You don't want any of this.
Well, if they do, they'll find a lot of friendliness.
That's exactly what it'll be. Well, gosh, I didn't know you were coming, but I'll put on an extra plate.
Right. He's kind of funny looking, but...
Yeah.
A website has conducted a study to determine which state citizens would be better off in an alien invasion. They looked at factors like this: the number of UFO sightings already. I guess they feel like if you get a lot of sightings, you're already ready to engage and be more accommodating and a gracious host. Landscape and terrain factors in defense, science and medical resources, plus food and beverage manufacturing. So we got all that in Minnesota. Mm-hmm. All that for days, apparently. But oddly enough, Virginia had the best alien survival score.
It must be that defense thing, right? So close to DC?
Could be, I guess.
No, they got all those surface to air. Yeah, they got the good stuff. We have mosquitoes. The skeeters will get them before the surface to air missiles, They, all sorts of diseases to knock the aliens out.
Number 2 on your top 5 at 9. The down streak is over. The Vikings have bounced back with a win. They are now 6-2. Sam Darnold sacked 4 times, 3 turnovers for the Vikings, but the second half they flipped it around. 3 touchdown passes in the second half for Sam Darnold. A pretty good defense for Indianapolis, but not enough to hold off the Vikings. The Vikings get the 21-13 win on Sunday night. Justin Jefferson, 137 receiving yards. Just another day at the office. My man is still on a legendary history-making run in this career of his. Jordan Addison with a beautiful diving grab in the back corner of the end zone in the second half. Not by any means like a great game that you're going to look at and say, that's when I knew we had what it took. But a win is a win, and to go scoreless in the first half, 3 touchdowns in the second, it does show some resilience. This Vikings team in past years, you may very well say they would have folded down 3 touchdowns. But, of course, being down big to the Colts is just kind of what we do around here.
Oh, the Vikings.
Yeah, JJ, I wonder what his quarterback rating was. I mean, he was 1 for 1, right? Had that nice completion to Jones up the sideline. Mm-hmm. It's good to see him. Good to see to get that cooking. Here's your quarterback, the Marlboro man, after the game.
Sam, I'm going to start with you. 0 points in the first half. How did you turn it around in the second?
Yeah, man, that's not how you draw it up for sure. But we battled through adversity, throughout this year, and we do it in games as well. Man, we got a really resilient group. Obviously, don't want to turn the ball over the way we did tonight. But, yeah, we just went out here. We were resilient, like I said, and we got it done.
We saw you come out in the third quarter limping a little bit with the athletic training staff around you. What was going on?
I'm good. I'm all good.
I knew you were going to say
that. What
that.
about Will Reichert? Is he good with that groin of his? He must have some sort of pull. He was having some trouble yesterday. The never miss man was missing.
It was tough to see, but you know what? Better get a miss now than in the last game of the season for the first time all year. We all know what that's all about around here. So if you're no one's going to go through the season perfect, and so now Will Reichert can get to work on that next streak. Very well played up until now, young man. First of all, before we get to your top story for the top 5 at 9, morning shout out to Stillwater. Come on, Stillwater. Give us a little bit of love.
Beautiful. I know. Kind of the show-off city in Minnesota, isn't it?
It really is.
It's just like the prettiest girl at the dance.
You know what? I got a thing for prettiest girls at dances. I'll be honest. I'm a big fan of Stillwater. Always happy to be up in Stillwater hanging out. So good morning to all of you from up there. We're happy to have you with us in the morning. Your number 1 story from the world of music. Quincy Jones died last night. He was 91 years old. Absolutely, unquestionably on the Mount Rushmore of most impactful and influential and important music producers.
I have a clip here of Frank introducing Quincy to the audience, and then a little bit of Quincy sharing what Frank told him back then in the 1960s.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you will, please help me reward a very talented young man who is one of the bright stars in the composing business and orchestrating business today, Mr. Quincy Jones.
Frank Sinatra used to tell us every night when we worked in Vegas with him in Basic, Q, live every day like it's your last, and one day you'll be right.
Right on, Quincy Jones. Thanks for everything.
Get the KQ Morning Show podcast wherever you listen. 92 KQRS.